Hey there, it's Tanisha Coffey, aka the Lofty Entrepreneur, here with you. And today we are talking about strategic planning. All right, so let's go ahead and hop into it. So I know a lot of you out there, you say you have a strategic plan or a marketing plan, but it's still stuck in your head. And you really have to start to get that out on paper. You don't want it to stay in your head. And when you do begin to put it on paper, you want to make sure that you have these tips that I'm going to tell you today, that you've taken them into consideration when you created that plan. So let's jump into it. So, step one is you want to set your intention for what your goal is for your strategic plan, right? So, a marketing plan can have multiple parts, it can have multiple strategies. I'm going to talk about kind of a single strategy notion today, right? So maybe you decide, for the next 3 months, the strategy that you want to focus on is, say, building your email list. That is your intention. As you can see, there's lots of intentions that you can have. It can be to grow brand awareness, increase your social media following, get people to book appointments, come to a certain location, buy something specific. So you can have multiple intentions as part of your marketing strategy, and you should. But what I'm talking about at this very moment is for each kind of strategy that you're creating within your overall marketing plan, that you have a specific intention for that one. Now, is it possible to have a specific intention and that the person um, receiving your marketing actually do more than what you intended? Absolutely. But when it comes to you actually creating it and focusing on what you want to happen with your marketing, you need to be very specific on your intention. So, for today's purposes, we're going to focus on the intention of building your email list. Okay, so keep that in mind as we keep moving through these tips. All right, step two is you want to establish your goals. So, for instance, if your intention is to build your email list, your goal might be over the next 3 months, I want to add at least 100 new quality names to my email list. Okay, and that's measurable. You want your goals to be measurable so that you can figure out if you are actually achieving those goals. So the goal would be 100 emails per month. Now, when it comes to step three is to decide on your target audience. Now, you should have already decided on your overall target audience for your business. Okay, that should already be decided. If it's not, you need to stop right now and make sure that that is very, very dialed in. Now, within your actual target market, though, you will have different temperatures for your audience. So when you're creating your marketing strategies, you also need to consider what temperature of audience that you're talking to. So, for instance, a cold audience typically has no clue who you are and they're completely oblivious to the problems that you may solve. So, how you speak to them and what you should expect their knowledge of your products and services are should be very different than someone who, say, is a hot temperature target audience member who is, probably somebody that's either already done business with you or someone who's actively looking for what you're selling and looking for a solution to the types of problems that you solve. So your messaging would be very different. And then you have your warm temperature audiences. So those are people who maybe they've engaged with some of your content, maybe they've been in your store before, and they may or may not have bought something, but more than likely they haven't. They're kind of just on the fence, trying to decide. They're aware of a problem, so maybe they're starting to look for a solution, but they haven't been motivated enough to say, oh, I need to find the solution right now and ready to buy right now. Again, that the way you speak to that audience is going to be different than the way you speak to a cold or hot audience. Okay, so keep that in mind as you're creating your plans, because that's going to play a big role when it comes into your messaging as well as how you potentially reach out to them. All right, step four is to decide on your offer. All right, so you want to build an email list. That's our intention. Your goal is you want to build an email list of 100 people per month over the next 3 months. And then you've decided that you're going to reach out to your, um, let's see, which market do we want to do? You want to reach out to cold audience. Okay. So you're looking to start to fill your list with, new people who really haven't been exposed to you. Okay. So in doing that, you have to really think about what kind of content would resonate with people. So this is when you start to go back to your overall target audience and you say, you think about, the pain points that you've identified. You think about their wants, you think about their needs, you think about what motivates them, what frustrates them. You think about all of those types of things because those will help you to decide what offer may actually make them start to pay attention to you, right? And so if they pay attention and your call to action is sign up for my newsletter, then you'll build your list of that particular audience. Okay. So again, think about the temperature, remember your intention, and also when you're creating your offer, you want to make sure that it makes sense for your business. So, if this is a cold audience, you don't want to, you know, drive your business underground because you're trying to, offer a ridiculous discount that your business really can't afford just to build your email list. So in this case, you might think about, maybe a lead magnet of some sort, whether it's a class, a webinar, a coupon, a buy one, get one. You really have to think about what makes sense for your business and the audience you're trying to attract. And it should be based again on those pain points and frustrations, things that will resonate with them. It's not about what you want to pitch, it's about what they want to buy. So keep that in mind as you're creating your offer. All right. Step 5 is determining your budget. So, of course, this is a huge part of any sort of marketing plan, right? Any sort of strategy, because your budget obviously is going to determine how much you are able to do and how you allocate monies if you have budget to do it. And then keep in mind, not all your strategies that you use in your marketing plan have to be paid strategies. You can also use organic, but just understand there are still costs potentially if you are creating content or have some sort of placements that you're trying to do, even though you may not be doing actual advertising. There still may be costs associated with it. So you really need to think about the budget that you can allocate to the efforts that you're planning. All right, step 6. So now that you have your budget, you know what you want to do, now it's time to start thinking about the possibilities. So there's lots of ways to market these days, and not all of them are ideal for every single situation, every single audience, but you really do have the ability to pick and choose what you want. The key is to think about what will work best to help you actually execute your goal. Okay, you're in based on your intention. So it won't do you very much good if you are, say, a local business owner and you decide that you want to um, do a webinar that has nothing to do with what you serve or really is targeted at people who are in your local market. That would be a waste of time and money. So you want to make sure that as you're thinking about the possibilities, that they really do match everything else that we've talked about so far. All right. And step 7. Step 7 is execution. Now, there are tons and tons of people out there who make wonderful, wonderful thought out plans. They know they have their intention. They have thought about their target audience. They thought about their offer. They thought about their messaging. They know exactly, where they want to put it, and then nothing. They stop. They don't actually take the steps to execute it because they don't know how, or because they didn't plan enough time in order to be able to execute it in the time that they needed in order to make it happen. So for instance, say Valentine's Day. It's a very popular holiday. A number of business owners, want to create specials and promotions for that holiday. Well, in an ideal situation, most of those people will have began working on what those promotions, those offers, how they're going to put it out there about 8 weeks, 8 to 12 weeks before actual Valentine's Day, so that they have the time to actually create the things that they need to create. They have the time to get the logistics in place. They have make sure that their cash flow is right so that they can execute all of the things they want to do and then schedule everything and then also have time in case something doesn't work out quite right. So it's really important that as you work on your plan, that you not just plan what you want to do, but the execution of it as well. And when I talk about execution, it's not just the what. You also need to know the who, how, and where. You need to identify that for every single element, every single step of the way, if you want to make sure that your plan has the highest possible likelihood of being executed as you want it to be executed. So, those are some things to think about as you are working on your marketing strategy and your overall business strategy. Keep all of that in mind. And, if you have any questions, let me know. For those of you, if you'd like to reach out and to do a one-on-one session with me in order to see how your marketing strategy is looking, if you've already created one, then feel free to go to the links in the post in order to connect with me. I'd be happy to review your existing marketing strategy if you want one, or if you don't already have one, then we can put one together if you just use the link on your screen. If you just have questions and would like to do a call to get some more advice, then you should just book a discovery call with me, which is www.theloftyentrepreneur.com/discovery call. All right, guys, that is it for this time. Talk to you guys later. Bye.